Hi students, good morning everybody. Today we are going to discuss colloidal solutions. So before going to that, if you are first time to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. So in this video, I give a complete information regarding this colloidal solutions. So generally, solutions are mainly divided into three types. That is colloidal solution, true solutions and suspensions. Colloidal solutions, suspensions and true solutions. So solutions are mainly classified into three types depending upon the size of the solute particles. Depending upon the size of the solute particles, these are classified into three types. So if the size of the solute particles ranges from 10 power minus 9 meters to 10 power minus 6 meters, then it is called a colloidal solution. If the size is less than this range, then it is called true solution. If the size is greater than this range, is called suspension solution. Okay, a colloidal solution means the solution whose particles are present in this range. Then these solutions are called colloidal solutions. So these colloidal solutions are generally heterogeneous systems. So remember, these colloidal solutions are generally heterogeneous in nature. Heterogeneous in nature. That means it consists of two components. One is dispersed phase and dispersion medium. So every colloidal solution consists of two components. One is dispersed phase, other one is dispersal medium. If the dispersed phase exhibits positive charge, then the dispersal medium will exhibit negative charge. If the dispersed phase exhibits positive charge and the dispersal medium will exhibit negative charge. Suppose if the dispersed phase exhibits negative charge, then the dispersal medium will exhibit positive charge. That means the dispersed phase and the dispersal medium will exhibit equal and opposite charges. Suppose if the dispersed phase is positive, then the colloid is said to be positive colloid. If the dispersed phase is positive, then it is called positive colloid, or simply it is called SOL, positive SOL. If the dispersed phase exhibits negative charge, then it is called negative SOL. So that means every colloidal particle will exhibit either positive charge or negative charge. So due to presence of these charges, this colloidal system is mostly stable. The colloidal system is mostly stable due to presence of charges. So suppose if you take the dispersed phase particles of positive SOL, here these are the dispersed phase particles. So these dispersed phase particles exhibits positive charge. So here these exhibits positive charge due to presence of positive charge. So they will repel with each other and they do not associate with each other. That's why the colloidal solution will be more stable. So the colloidal solution is more stable due to presence of charges. Okay. So here there exhibits some repulsion between the dispersed phase particles due to presence of same charge. So that's why they will not associate with each other to form suspension. So whenever these two associate with each other, then it forms suspension. That means the size of the particles will be increased. So here due to presence of these charges, it will not associate with each other. That's why the colloidal solutions are mostly stable. So depending upon the stability, the colloidal solutions are mainly classified into two types. One is lyophilic colloids and lyophobic colloids. So these lyophilic colloids are somewhat more stable than lyophobic colloids. These are somewhat more stable than these lyophobic colloids. So these are unstable colloids. So why these will become unstable? So generally colloidal particles exhibits positive charge or negative charge. Due to presence of these charges, these are mostly stable. So when compared with this lyophilic and lyophobic colloids, the lyophobic colloids are unstable. So why these are unstable? So because during the preparation of these lithophobic colloids, some electrolytes are used. So due to presence of these electrolytes, these are highly unstable. Due to presence of these lithophobic colloids, these are highly unstable. Whereas lipophilic colloids means the lipophilic colloids are prepared by using the solvent, that is water. So these are water soluble colloids. Lipophilic colloids are water soluble colloids. Here the solvent will be water. The solvent will be water. The solvent means here dispersal medium. The dispersal medium will be water. So due to presence of water molecules on the surface of these dispersed phase particles, there is solvated. The dispersed phase particles will be solvated. So due to the solvation of the dispersed phase particles, they will not associate with each other. So that's why those are most stable. Whereas in case of lithophobic colloids, there are some electrolytes will be there. So due to presence of the electrolytes, due to presence of some electrolytes, they will be associate to form suspensions. So how the association takes place? So what is the process of association of dispersed phase particles? So that process is called coagulation. So here every colloidal particles will exhibit some charge. That means here suppose if you take a positive colloid, so the positive colloid exhibits positive charge. So if you add some electrolytes, suppose any electrolyte, sodium chloride electrolyte is added to any positive sol, then the ions which are having opposite charge will adsorb on the surface of the colloidal particles. Here Cl minus ions will adsorb on the surface of the positive charged colloidal particles. So here due to adsorption of opposite charged ions on the surface of the colloidal particles, the positive charge will be decreased. So due to decrease in positive charge, there is the association of dispersed phase particles. Okay, so due to presence of opposite charge on the colloidal particles, the charge on the positive charged particle will be decreased. So by the excess addition of electrolytes, the charge on the colloidal particles will be decreased. So due to decrease in charge on the colloidal particles, they will associate with each other and forms precipitation, that is nothing but suspension. Okay, so this process is called coagulation. This process is called coagulation. So coagulation means a colloidal solution will convert into suspension by the excess addition of electrolytes. So this is simply called as coagulation. Okay, the process of conversion of a colloidal solution into suspension by excess addition of electrolytes. So here by the excess addition of electrolyte, the ion, opposite ion will adsorb on the surface of the colloidal particles. So here if you take arsenic sulfide sol As2S3, this is negative colloid. Arsenic sulfide sol is a negative colloid. So on this negative colloid, if there is any positive ion, suppose if you take NaCl, sodium chloride, so NaCl produces Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. So from the electrolyte, any one of the ion is responsible for coagulation. From the electrolyte, any one ion is responsible for coagulation. Here, since it is a negative colloid, only Na plus ion is responsible for coagulation. Here Na plus ions will adsorb on the surface of arsenic sulfide sol. Okay, so here the Na plus ion will responsible for coagulation of this arsenic sulfide sol. So this Na plus ion is called fluctuated ion. Fluctuated ion. So here coagulation is also called as flocculation. Coagulation is also called as flocculation. So the ion which is responsible for coagulation is called fluctuated ion. Okay, clear? So this is the, here Na plus ion is the fluctuated ion. So here if you take different electrolytes like calcium chloride or aluminum chloride AlCl3 and calcium chloride. So here Ca plus 2 ion is responsible for coagulation of this arsenic sulfide, and here Al plus 3 is responsible for coagulation of this arsenic sulfide sol. So here which can easily coagulate, which of these three electrolytes can easily coagulate this arsenic sulfide sol? It depends upon the charge on the fluctuated ion. Here if the charge on the fluctuated ion is more, if the charge on the fluctuated ion is more, the tendency of coagulation will be more. So that's why here Al plus 3 ions can easily coagulate this arsenic sulfide sol than Ca plus 2 ion than Na plus ions. So here this is the coagulating tendency of this electrolytes for negative soul, that is arsenic sulfide soul. Okay, so here greater the charge on the fluctuated ion, greater will be the tendency of coagulation. Greater is the charge on the fluctuated ion, greater will be the tendency of coagulation. So that is called Hardy-Schulze law. Hardy-Schulze law. So this is greater will be the charge on the fluctuated ion, greater will be the coagulating power. Okay, so we have to protect the colloidal solution from this coagulation. So if you protect the colloidal solution by this coagulation, the colloidal solution will be stable. So how can we protect this colloidal solution? So we can protect the colloidal solution, that is liophobic colloidal solution, by using some liofilic colloidal solutions. Okay, we can protect the liophobic colloidal solution by adding some liofilic colloidal solution. So how much amount of liofilic colloid should be added to protect the solution is given by gold number, the term gold number. So here we can define that gold number also, gold number. So suppose if you take any liophobic colloid, that is 10 cc of gold solution is there, that is 10 ml of gold solution is there, RM solution, RM sol is there, 10 ml of gold solution. So in this 10 ml of gold solution there is some electrolyte, 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride electrolyte will be there. It consists of 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride electrolyte is there. So this is the liophobic colloidal solution. So liophobic colloidal solution consists of some electrolytes. So that is here 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride electrolyte is there. So in order to prevent the coagulation of this colloidal solution, we have to add a liofilic colloids. We have to add liofilic colloids, that is liofilic sols. So we have to add some liofilic sol. So how much amount of liofilic sol can be added to prevent the coagulation of this colloidal solution is termed as gold number. So we have to add some amount of liofilic colloid. We have to calculate this amount in terms of milligrams. It should be calculated in terms of milligrams. So now let us try to define this gold number. So gold number means the weight in milligrams of a protective colloid. This is called protective colloid or simply liofilic colloid. So mostly liofilic colloids acts as protective colloids. So here we have to define this gold number like this. So the weight in milligrams of a protective colloid which prevents the coagulation of 10 cc of gold solution when 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride electrolyte is present in it. Okay, clear? So here some electrolyte is there, that is 1 ml of electrolyte is there. So the concentration of the electrolyte is 10%. Okay, 10% weight by weight or volume by weight, or volume by volume, whatever it may be, it is 10% electrolyte is there in 10 ml of gold solution. So then how much amount of liofilic colloid should be added in milligrams? So that is termed as gold number. So if the gold number value is less, then the protecting power will be more. The protecting power will be more. Remember this one. If gold number is less, then the protecting power will be more, because we are adding less amount of liofilic colloid to protect this colloidal solution. Okay. So this is about gold number. So gold number means the weight in milligrams of a protective colloid which prevents the coagulation of 10 cc of gold solution when 1 ml of 10% sodium chloride electrolyte is present in it. So this is about gold number. Now let us come on to next concept, that is, suppose let us consider a silver nitrate solution. So let us consider a silver nitrate solution is added to potassium iodide solution. Suppose a potassium iodide solution is there in excess, to this some silver nitrate solution is added. So then what happens? It forms silver iodide. So by the addition of silver nitrate solution to excess amount of potassium iodide, silver iodide solution is formed. So on this silver iodide, so due to presence of excess amount of this potassium iodide, so on this silver iodide solution particles, dispersed phase particles, there is the adsorption of I minus ions takes place due to presence of excess amount of potassium iodide. So here silver iodide is there, so the ion which is having common will be adsorbed on the surface of the silver iodide. So here iodide ion is common, that's why it will adsorb on the surface of this silver iodide. So here this silver iodide will be adsorbed by negatively charged species. So here it creates some negative sphere. So this negative sphere is called fixed layer. So on the dispersed phase particle there is a negative sphere. The ions of negative charge will be adsorbed. That's why it is called negative sphere. So on this negative sphere, the solvent molecules which is having some positive ion. So the positive ions from the solvent molecules will be adsorbed on the surface of this negative ions. So what are the ions present in solvent molecules? Here there is some K plus ions. So these K plus ions will be adsorbed on the surface of I minus ion. So these K plus ions are from solvent. So these will adsorb on the surface of I minus ion. So in this way a double layer will be formed. This double layer is called Helmholtz double layer. So these double layers will have equal and opposite charges. So the magnitude of charge will be same, but they will have opposite charges. So due to presence of these opposite charges on these two layers, so here this layer is called fixed layer. This is called fixed layer which is fixed on the dispersed phase particle, and this is called mobile layer. This is mobile layer. So there exist two layers, one is fixed layer, other one is mobile layer. So this theory is given by Helmholtz. So it is called Helmholtz electrical double layer theory. So due to presence of these two equal and opposite charged spheres, there arises some potential difference between these two layers. Some potential difference will be arised in between these two layers. So due to this potential difference is called zeta potential. Zeta potential. So due to equal and opposite charges, whenever there exists some equal and opposite charges, there arises some potential difference. That potential difference is called zeta potential. So this is about electrical double layer theory according to Helmholtz. So this is called zeta potential indicated by Z. And next one, so milk is a colloidal solution. Milk is also one of the colloidal solution. So if coagulation of milk takes place, so coagulation of milk takes place by the addition of excess amount of electrolyte. Suppose if any electrolyte is added, suppose if sodium chloride electrolyte is added, so the dispersed phase particles will adsorb some of the ions. So by the adsorption of ions, the dispersed phase particles will associate with each other due to decrease in charge. So then it will convert into suspension. That suspension is nothing but casein. So here milk is converted into casein by coagulation process. So generally we does not use sodium chloride because it is salt. It is somewhat due to presence of the sodium chloride, the casein appears as the casein appears as it tastes salty. So that's why we do not use sodium chloride, we just use lemon juice. So by the addition of excess amount of lemon juice, it will convert into suspension solution. Okay, so the casein can be formed from milk by coagulation process. Okay, and next here is a small question for you. Give me an example of lyophilic colloids. Lyophilic colloid. Comment the answer in comment box. Thank you. Like the session, share the session and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.